Imagine you wake up early in the morning to cook all the meals for the day at once. But the problem here is you don't have anything to store it in. You don't have a fridge. So I'm sure you won't be able to eat the meals later in the day. They will be spoiled, they will be wasted, and they will be thrown out. And you would have to order from outside to ensure that you're not sleeping hungry. This is not the story about the food. This is what is happening with the solar power generation in our country. It is not enough that we have to waste away the power generation that is happening, but also have to bring in the conventional sources that which we have been planning to dial down to meet the demand of the electricity. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh. In today's session, we are going to understand that if India is producing enough solar power, then why do we have to waste it? Why are we curtailing it away? And why our dependence on conventional sources is not dialing down? We will also be looking into some important terms such as duck curve, understanding that how demand varies across the day and the technicality around this topic. So let us begin with understanding that what exactly is the problem in front of us. Now, as of now, when we are looking at solar power, which used to contribute only 2% of the installed capacity almost a decade back, this is responsible for contribution of more than 25% as of now, very close to 30%. And you can clearly see that across the years, we have seen that how the contribution in terms of installed capacity, gigawatts, has increased. Specifically, I am talking about solar power. As of today, it stands at 130 gigawatts. And when we are looking very closely into the data, what you will see, let me show it on a graph, that this very month on 6th July, what did we see? That the 50% of electricity generation is coming from where? It is coming from clean energy. Now this is 11:46 AM and I am talking of 6th of July. This was the time when we saw that the contribution of renewable energy and hydro energy is more than 50%. But the problem here is it was only momentarily. You can see in the given graph also, it was momentarily. And this is the exact problem that I am pointing out to. That every day we have to do this fluctuation, and when we are talking about this fluctuation, let me point out to you that every day we are wasting solar electricity. We are throwing it away. Just to give you a reference point, almost equivalent amount of electricity which can light up 1/4 of Delhi at once is being thrown away in form of solar electricity. Now the question here is, how is this happening? And then we will move to why is this happening. Now let us first understand that why exactly solar power is being wasted. For this we need to understand one very basic concept, that when we are talking about daytime, when the sun is shining, everything is bright, solar energy generation, it is at peak. So the maximum electricity that can be generated using solar power, it is at maximum. But at the same time, when we are talking about electricity demand, for example, you using lights and other things, that is comparatively lower. So definitely whatever power is being generated, that is not being fully utilized. So there is some amount that is left over. For example, if you made 8 rotis, you don't feel like eating, you ate 4 rotis and you thought, okay, I'll leave the 4 rotis. There is surplus power, so this is present. By the evening, what happens? Sun is down. Now solar power generation falls sharply, but it is evening, you are tired, you have done the work, you feel like eating more. Similarly, when we have gone back home, we are switching on the ACs, we are switching on the fans, we need more lights because the sun is down. So the demand rises of the electricity. So what is happening? You thought I have left 4 rotis, I'll eat it in the evening, but when you went back home in the evening, you were way more hungry. So you needed 8 rotis. So you only had 4. Now what you are doing for 4 rotis? That remains the question. But another question right here comes, that you are thinking, okay, I have 4 rotis, I only need to order maybe 4 rotis, you will decide. You check and you find that because you had no proper way to store the additional 4 rotis, they are wasted. So now you have nothing. And that is when you would want that, okay, I should order, 8 rotis need to be ordered. This is where coal and gas plants come into the picture, which generate electricity. Solar did what it could, it generated surplus, there was surplus, but that surplus could not be stored. In the evening, electricity demand rises, and that is when coal and gas plants have to fill up this requirement. So if you see this given graph, you can clearly see that the highest demand of energy is not in the morning, it starts after the noon, it peaks after 6 p.m. This is the time when it peaks. And similarly, if you look at the other graph, you will be able to see that the solar power generation, or when we are talking about the sun energy, we clearly get to see it is at the least at the same point of time. Now, when we are looking at this graph, you might be able to see clearly that here is a graph that has been made which shows an image of the duck. Now, this is where a concept duck curve comes into the picture. Now, let us understand what exactly do we mean by duck curve. So, when we are talking about the duck curve, it basically indicates that when we are talking about the daytime solar output, it forces the coal and gas plants to reduce their generation. So, what coal and gas plants will do during the daytime, they will reduce their power generation. But after the sunset, because solar power generation has dropped rapidly, again coal and gas plants have to pump it up. And this is where we are seeing, we said momentarily 50% of our energy was coming from renewable sources, because later in the day it went back to conventional energy. And why this duck curve is a problem is because whenever we are talking about continuous start and stop, they not only reduce the efficiency, they lead to higher fuel use, they lead to higher maintenance, and the grid stress, the whole national grid, that also comes into stress because there is constant switching of sources. So, as of now, we have 3 big problems in front of us. First, solar energy is being wasted. Second, we have to use extra fuel, maintenance, and the efficiency is lower. And third, there is no way as of now to store the solar energy. So, why are we not able to store the solar energy? If we are such big players in terms of solar energy, why do not we have any mechanism for solar energy storage? So, the reason here is the batteries. When we are talking about what will be storing the solar energy, it will be the batteries which will be storing the solar energy. And when we are talking about battery infrastructure in India, as of now it is a nascent stage. It has high upfront cost, bigger manufacturing problems, critical inputs that we have to import. The industries are still in the nascent stage, and we are still dependent in terms of imports from China when we are talking about battery. So, as of now, India needs 130 gigawatt hour of storage to meet even half of the evening demand. That means if we want to store the solar energy and meet half of the evening demand, that means we need this much. But how much do we have? We don't even have close to 30 gigawatt hour. So, as of now, we are looking at enhancing this capacity, but at the same time, this constraint remains for a very long time because our infrastructure, our industries are at a nascent stage. We are seeing supply chain disruptions and dependency in terms of import of battery. Until this problem is resolved, the other 2 problems that we talked about, that cannot be resolved. So, as of now, the missing link broadly is battery, but if you look into detail, it is lack of infrastructure, high dependency for critical inputs, high dependency of imports, and also how we have limited production capacity of batteries in our own country. And because of exactly this, what we are seeing is is the loss of clean electricity. Almost every day solar power is being curtailed, and when we are looking at it, we are seeing that we are wasting enough electricity daily which can power 1/4 of Delhi. If we just take reference for 1 month, April to May 2026, daytime shortages did not happen. It were only 6 days when electricity demand could not be met. But evening shortages, even after putting the pressure on gas and coal plants, 36 days. That means we are wasting electricity during day and we are pumping the generators, pushing very hard to complete the demand in the evening. And it is a vicious cycle where we are losing out on efficiency, clean energy, and also making our clean transition harder. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section. Let us discuss the way forward in this very situation, because when we are talking about efficiently using the solar energy, we have to make the solar energy reliable. We have to expand the battery energy storage system. We have understood that. Other than that, we can also focus on pumped storage hydropower. We have to build smarter and more flexible power grids, so the efficiency loss that we are talking about and the switch that we are feeling that is leading to more maintenance, that needs to be addressed. We can also introduce time of day tariffs, so that daytime electricity use, if needed, that can be empowered by that. We have to promote demand response so that we can shift industrial consumption to solar hours. So major industrial requirement can be met through solar energy. And this is when we have to think about bigger policy reforms as well, through Draft Electricity Amendment Bill 2025, Draft Electricity Right Consumer Amendment Rules of 2026 and more. Now here I will be leaving you here with the prelims practice question. Let me know the answer to this in the comment section. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.